Ladies and gentlemen, there is a power within you far greater than the fatigue you feel. You are not meant to drag yourself through life, barely making it from one moment to the next. You were created to be energized, enthusiastic, and empowered every single day. So, why do you feel tired? Why do you feel drained before the day even begins? I want to tell you something that may surprise you. Tiredness is not always a physical problem. It often starts in the mind and takes root in the soul. But here's the good news. When you change your thinking, you change your energy. And when you connect your spirit to a higher power, you tap into a source of strength that never runs dry. Imagine living every day with vitality that doesn't fade, with motivation that doesn't flicker, with a sense of purpose that fuels every breath you take. That is not only possible, it's promised, not by your own strength, but by the unlimited strength of the one who made you. Today, you're going to learn how to never feel tired again, not because you'll never face hard work or long hours, but because you'll finally understand where true energy comes from and how to live in it every single day. Most of the tiredness you feel doesn't start in your muscles. It doesn't begin in your legs or your back or even in your eyes. It begins in your mind. That's right. Your fatigue is often born in your thoughts long before it ever shows up in your body. You see, the mind is a powerful engine, and when it's filled with doubt, worry, stress, and defeat, it sends signals to the body that say, I can't go on, even when the body is still capable of more. That's why two people can face the same workload, the same number of hours, the same physical demands, and one ends up exhausted while the other keeps going with enthusiasm. What makes the difference? It's what's going on inside the mind. You are not just a body. You are a mind, a soul, and a spirit. And when your thinking is clouded by negativity, when your inner dialogue is constantly whispering, I'm worn out, or I'm not enough, it drains you before you even begin. But here's the liberating truth. If fatigue begins in the mind, then energy can begin there too. You can train your thoughts just like you train your body. You can choose thoughts that fuel you, words that lift you, and beliefs that strengthen you. That's where faith plays a miraculous role. Faith says, I may feel tired, but I believe in a strength greater than my own. Faith refuses to let weariness have the final word. And when your thoughts begin to align with the truth that you are connected to an unlimited power source, when you really believe that the Creator of heaven and earth has poured His energy into your spirit, you rise. You lift your head. You move forward with a new rhythm, a new pace, a new spirit. Tired thoughts come in quietly. They say, you can't do this. You're overwhelmed. You're not going to make it. But now it's time for you to speak back. Say, I am strong. I am energized. I am filled with power. And don't just say it once. Say it until your spirit starts to believe it. Because the moment your mind starts catching up to your faith, your body will follow. Let me give you something practical. Start your day with thoughts that ignite you. Before you check your phone, before you look at the clock, speak life over your day. Declare, this is a powerful day. I am ready for it. I have divine energy flowing through me. If worry tries to creep in, meet it with courage. If doubt tries to whisper, meet it with faith. And when you feel like you've hit your limit, remember this. You don't run on your own strength. You run on strength supplied by the one who created you. You were never meant to live drained, dragging, and defeated. That's not your destiny. You were made to rise, to move, to grow, to glow. And it all starts in the mind. Shift your thoughts, and you will shift your entire day. Think strong, and you will feel strong. Think hope, and you will feel renewed. Think victory, and you will feel unstoppable. So today, make the decision that you will no longer let tired thoughts govern your life. You are not as tired as you think. You are just one thought away from new energy, one belief away from fresh fire, one declaration away from divine strength. Let your mind become your greatest ally, not your greatest obstacle. Fill it with light, fill it with truth, and watch how your whole life begins to shine. The energy you carry throughout the day is not just the result of how many hours you slept or how much food you ate. It is deeply influenced by your attitude, your mindset, and the thoughts you allow to live in your heart. Positive thinking is not just a feel-good phrase. It is a powerful force that can shape your reality, your emotions, and even your physical vitality. When your mind is flooded with negative thoughts, complaints, frustrations, or feelings of helplessness, it becomes like a weight on your spirit. It drags you down. It makes everything feel heavier than it truly is. But when you train yourself to think positively, something incredible happens. Your mind begins to lighten. Your spirit begins to lift. Your body begins to respond. Suddenly, things that once seemed exhausting become manageable. Tasks that once drained you begin to energize you. That is the power of positive thinking. You have to realize that your thoughts are not just private reflections. They are instructions. Every thought you think is sending signals to your body, to your emotions, to your energy levels. When you constantly think, "I'm tired," "I can't handle this," or "this day is too hard," your body responds in kind. You start to feel tired, not because your body is failing, but because your thoughts are weighing you down. But imagine if you flipped that script. Imagine if you began your day saying, "I'm energized, I'm grateful, I'm ready." That kind of mental framing unlocks something in your brain and in your body. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You find reasons to smile instead of reasons to sigh. Your attitude determines your atmosphere, and your atmosphere determines your energy. Positive thinking doesn't mean you ignore reality or pretend everything is perfect. It means you choose to focus on what is good, what is hopeful, what is strong. It means you align your thoughts with faith, with joy, with confidence in the future. Even in moments of difficulty, you can say, "This challenge is going to make me stronger." Even in seasons of stress, you can say, "I've handled hard things before, and I'll handle this too." That kind of mind set doesn't just give you emotional strength. It gives you real physical stamina. A joyful mind creates a tireless spirit. You've seen people who seem to have boundless energy, not because they never face hardship, but because they have trained their minds to look for the good, to expect the best, and to walk through life with a spirit of enthusiasm. You can become one of those people, but it starts with your thoughts. It starts with refusing to dwell on what drains you and choosing to dwell on what fuels you. If you want to stop feeling tired, start feeding your mind with words of life. Listen to uplifting music, read words that inspire you, surround yourself with people who speak light, not darkness, and most of all, speak to yourself with kindness. Speak as if you were someone worth energizing, because you are. Tell yourself, "I have what it takes. I am alive with purpose. Today is a gift." The more you speak these things, the more you will believe them. And the more you believe them, the more energy you will feel pulsing through every fiber of your being. Positive thinking is not just a technique. It is a spiritual discipline. It is choosing faith over fear, joy over sorrow, and strength over weakness. It is deciding that you are not a victim of your feelings. You are the master of your mindset. And when you master your mindset, you tap into a power that doesn't run out. You begin to live with an energy that is not dependent on perfect circumstances, but drawn from a well that never runs dry. There is a source of strength greater than anything this world can offer, a power that never grows weary, never runs dry, and never fades with time. That power is the presence of the divine. When you connect daily to that higher power, through prayer, through meditation, through stillness and faith, you begin to draw strength not from your own limited resources, but from an infinite well of spiritual energy. You were not designed to run on your own strength alone. You were never meant to carry every burden, solve every problem, or face every challenge by yourself. That's why so many people feel drained. They're trying to live in a world full of demands without plugging into the one who can truly supply. When you take time each day to quiet your mind and open your spirit, you allow the energy of God to flow into you. In that sacred moment of connection, your anxieties begin to fade. Your confusion clears, your breathing slows, and what once seemed heavy becomes light. You can go through your day with a calm confidence because you are no longer walking alone. You are walking in step with the one who strengthens the weak, lifts the fallen, and gives rest to the weary. It doesn't take hours. Just a few intentional moments in the morning can transform your entire day. Before you face the noise of the world, face the peace of God. Before you check the messages on your phone, check the condition of your soul. Sit still, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and simply say, God, fill me with your energy. Guide my thoughts. Give me the strength to walk in joy today. That simple act realigns your spirit with divine rhythm. It reminds you that you're not running a race alone. You're being carried by grace. You may not be able to control what happens outside of you, but you can always control what happens within. And when you're connected to God, your within becomes powerful. You begin to walk into meetings with more clarity. You face traffic with more patience. You interact with others with more kindness, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. And that strength didn't come from coffee or adrenaline. It came from communion. When you live disconnected from your source, life becomes a constant struggle to keep up. But when you stay connected, everything flows with greater ease. Your mind becomes more focused. Your body feels more energized. Your emotions stay grounded. You live not in panic, but in purpose. Not in frustration, but in peace. That is the difference the presence of God makes. And it's not just for religious people. It's for anyone who desires to live at a higher level. The invitation to connect with divine energy is open to all. Whether you call it prayer, meditation, reflection, or spiritual alignment, it's the same principle. Acknowledging that you are not your own source, that something greater holds you, that something eternal can renew you. And when you live from that place, tiredness begins to fade. Your spirit was made to shine. It was made to radiate with strength and clarity. But just like a lamp needs electricity to light up, your soul needs divine connection to stay bright. So make it a daily practice. Prioritize that sacred connection above all else. Let it be your secret fuel, your hidden fire, and watch how your life transforms. not by your hustle, but by your alignment with heaven. That's how you tap into a strength that cannot be shaken. That's how you never feel tired again. When you wake up each day with a clear purpose burning in your heart, something shifts deep inside you. Fatigue loses its grip. Weariness fades into the background. That's because purpose is one of the most powerful energizers in life. When you know why you're getting up in the morning, when you know that your life matters and your actions make a difference, you don't just go through the motions. You move with intention. You live with passion. You rise with energy that no amount of sleep alone can provide. Purpose creates inner fire, and that fire burns brighter than exhaustion. There is something extraordinary that happens when your life is tied to a meaningful mission. You stop counting the hours and start maximizing the moments. You stop dragging yourself through tasks and start approaching them with joy, because you understand that everything you do is a part of something greater. Whether you're a teacher shaping young minds, a parent raising a child, an entrepreneur building a dream, or simply someone spreading kindness wherever you go, when your heart is locked into purpose, your energy multiplies. You tap into a strength beyond logic, because now you're not just doing things to survive. You're doing them to serve, to grow, to uplift, to contribute. It's not about being busy. Plenty of people stay busy and still feel empty. It's about being aligned, when your values, your actions, and your inner calling all point in the same direction. Fatigue has no place to stay. Think about the times you felt the most alive. Chances are they weren't always the easiest moments, but they were meaningful. They mattered. You were doing something that stirred your soul. That's the power of purpose. But the challenge is, many people go through life without ever pausing to ask, why am I here? What is the deeper reason behind the work I do, the relationships I nurture, the dreams I hold? If you don't define your purpose, life will give you distractions instead. It will pull you in 100 different directions, draining your energy, scattering your focus. But when you define your mission, you reclaim your energy. You filter out what's not essential. You say no to what drains you and yes to what drives you. Purpose also gives you perseverance when things get hard, and they will. Your purpose reminds you why it's worth it. When you feel discouraged, your purpose whispers, keep going. Someone needs what you bring. And that encouragement fuels you more than sleep, more than rest, more than comfort ever could. It gives you endurance. It gives you resilience. It gives you a reason to rise again. Even the smallest acts become significant when you see them through the lens of purpose. A conversation becomes a moment to inspire. A routine task becomes a step toward a bigger goal. A long day becomes a sacrifice for a better future. Purpose transforms everything. So if you're feeling tired, ask yourself not just, what do I need to do less of? But also, what do I need to do more of that truly matters? Reconnect with what sets your soul on fire. Reflect on the impact you want to leave. Remind yourself daily that you are not just here to exist. You are here to shine, to serve, to lead, to love. You are here for a reason. And when that reason is clear in your mind and alive in your spirit, you will find energy you never thought you had. That is how purpose becomes your power, and how tiredness becomes a thing of the past. Your words carry power, more than most people realize. The way you speak to yourself, first thing in the morning, during stressful moments, and in quiet times when no one is watching, has the potential to shape the very course of your day. You don't have to wait for the world to tell you who you are. You have the authority to affirm your strength through the words you choose to declare. When you say, "I am strong," even if you don't feel it in that moment, you are planting the seed of strength. And that seed, when watered by repetition and belief, begins to grow inside you until strength becomes your natural state. There's a profound spiritual truth in this. You have the ability to speak life over your own soul. You can declare peace instead of panic. You can speak confidence instead of fear. You can affirm energy, courage, resilience, and joy, not because you feel those things every moment, but because you are choosing to align your mind with the truth that lives beyond feeling. That truth is grounded in faith, and faith reminds you that you are not alone. Faith reminds you that you were not created to live weary, overwhelmed, or discouraged. You were created to rise, to overcome, and to walk in power. Affirmations are not wishful thinking. They are spiritual declarations that awaken the deeper part of you. When you say, "I am filled with divine energy," you are not lying to yourself. You are tapping into a greater reality. There is energy that flows from heaven, from God, from your Creator, and it is available to you in every moment, but it must be received, and one of the most powerful ways to receive it is by speaking it. Words open the door, words activate belief, words push back against the noise of negativity and usher in light. Every day brings challenges. There are demands on your time, your emotions, your physical body. But when you meet those demands with faith-filled affirmations, you shift the atmosphere. You may wake up feeling low, but you begin saying, "I am strong, I am capable, I am energized, I can do all things through Him who gives me strength," and your entire inner world begins to change. You may still have work to do, but now you are approaching it from a place of power, not panic. You're speaking from a position of victory, not defeat. This is a practice that builds over time. The more you do it, the stronger the result. At first, your mind might resist. You might say, "But I don't feel strong." That's okay. Speak it anyway. Speak it until your feelings catch up with your faith. Speak it until your soul begins to believe it again. And every time you do, you are reclaiming your energy. You are reminding yourself that your strength does not come from circumstance. It comes from a source that never runs dry. You don't have to wait until you feel like it. Declare it now. Say it out loud. Look in the mirror and speak to yourself with love and conviction. Tell yourself the truth. I am strong. I am focused. I am refreshed. I am walking in divine strength today. These simple words, repeated with sincerity and belief, begin to rewire your thoughts, reset your emotions, and recharge your spirit. The world may try to wear you down, but your faith can lift you back up. You can speak life into every dry place. You can affirm your strength through the power of your words and the presence of your Creator. And when you do, something incredible happens. You stop feeling tired and you start feeling alive. There are forces in life that silently drain your energy, often without you even noticing. They sneak into your thoughts, settle in your emotions, and weigh down your spirit. They're not physical, but they leave you feeling physically exhausted. These forces are worry, fear, doubt, and negativity, true energy vampires. They don't just make you tired. They rob you of joy, peace, and the clarity needed to live with strength and enthusiasm. Every time you give your focus to what might go wrong, every time you replay a failure or dwell on a fear, your inner power begins to leak away, It's like trying to carry water in a bucket full of holes. No matter how much you pour in, it keeps draining out. If you want to live energized, you have to stop feeding these invisible thieves. Worry is one of the biggest culprits. It disguises itself as preparation, but in truth, it's often just imagination used in the wrong direction. Instead of imagining success, you imagine failure. Instead of envisioning peace, you anticipate chaos. And with every worried thought, your shoulders get heavier, your chest tighter, and your motivation dimmer. But here's a truth that can set you free. Worry has never solved a problem, never created a breakthrough, and never added a single hour to your life. What it does is sap your strength before the real work even begins. Worry is borrowing trouble from tomorrow and paying for it with today's energy. Fear is its close companion. Fear whispers lies that paralyze you. It tells you you're not enough, that you're not safe, that something bad is going to happen. But fear is often just false evidence appearing real. Most of the things you fear never come to pass, yet the energy you spend imagining them can exhaust you completely. When you allow fear to control your thoughts, your body responds. Your muscles tense, your breathing shortens, your clarity disappears. You begin living in defense mode, constantly on edge. No wonder you feel tired. Your mind is fighting battles that don't even exist. And then there's doubt, the quiet destroyer of dreams. Doubt tells you to shrink, to hold back, to stay quiet. It keeps you from taking action, and inaction breeds frustration. You second, guess your every move, question your worth, and before long, you feel drained. Not because you've done too much, but because you've allowed uncertainty to freeze your progress. Doubt is the thief that steals energy by keeping you stuck. But the good news is this: just as you allowed these thoughts in, you can choose to remove them. You can replace worry with trust. You can trade fear for faith. You can turn doubt into determination. You do that by intentionally focusing your mind on truth, on what is possible, on what is noble, pure, and hopeful. You speak affirmations of strength. You declare that you are guided, protected, and empowered. You surround yourself with positive influences. You fill your day with words, music, and people who lift your spirit instead of drain it. You stop rehearsing what could go wrong and start declaring what will go right. You also pray. You release your burdens to the one who is greater than any problem you'll ever face. You say, I choose to rest in God. I choose to trust in the divine plan. I will not be shaken. And something shifts. The tension lifts. The energy returns. You stop running from imaginary threats and start walking boldly into your purpose. You were not made to live in fear, worry, or doubt. You were made to live in faith, joy, and peace. When you eliminate the energy vampires of negativity, you make space for the light to come in, and in that light you will rise stronger, clearer, and more energized than ever before. There is a power hidden in something so simple, so constant, that most people overlook it entirely. It is your breath. You breathe every moment of your life, yet rarely do you notice its rhythm, its depth, or its potential to completely transform your energy. When you feel tired, overwhelmed, or anxious, the first thing that begins to shift, without your awareness, is your breathing. It becomes shallow, rushed, disconnected. Your body tenses, your heart races, your mind gets clouded. You start living in reaction mode, and without realizing it, your inner calm begins to slip away. But just as quickly, you can regain control. You can breathe your way back to clarity. You can breathe your way into peace. Deep, conscious breathing is more than just a physical act. It is a spiritual reset. With every slow inhale, you invite calm into your body. With every long exhale, you release stress, tension, and fatigue. It's like pushing a reset button on your entire nervous system. You're telling your body it's safe to relax. There is peace here. There is strength here. And when your body believes it, your energy begins to return. You can do this at any moment. You don't need silence. You don't need a yoga mat or a retreat center. All you need is your awareness. Pause right where you are. Close your eyes if you can. Inhale slowly through your nose and let your belly expand like a balloon. Hold it for just a moment. Now exhale slowly through your mouth and feel the weight drop from your shoulders. Do it again and again and again. Each breath becomes a prayer. Each breath becomes a choice. You are choosing peace. You are choosing calm. You are choosing to stop living on edge and start living with intention. Breath connects the body and the soul. When your breathing is erratic, your thoughts become scattered. When your breathing is slow and steady, your mind follows. You begin to think clearly again. You feel present again. You become grounded. This simple rhythm can carry you through your hardest days. When you're in traffic, breathe. When you're under pressure, breathe. When you're about to speak, lead, or perform, breathe. Use your breath as a tool, as a weapon against stress, as a doorway to deeper strength. There is also a deeper layer to this. When you breathe in peace, you're not just pulling in air. You're receiving divine energy. You're inviting the presence of God to fill your lungs, your heart, your spirit. And when you exhale, you're not just letting go of carbon dioxide. You're releasing the heaviness of fear, the tension of uncertainty, the chains of doubt. Breath becomes a spiritual practice, a moment of communion, a silent form of prayer. Be still. The scriptures say, "And know that I am God." Stillness begins with breath. Do this daily. Let it be part of your morning routine. Before you begin your day, sit for 5 minutes and just breathe with intention. Breathe in peace. Breathe in strength. Breathe in clarity. Then exhale everything you do not need. Exhale worry. Exhale the weight of yesterday. Exhale the tension hiding in your chest. Let every breath cleanse and recharge you from the inside out. You don't have to live tired. You don't have to walk through life dragging your spirit behind you. You can return to your breath again and again and find the energy you thought was gone. It's always within you, just waiting to be awakened, one breath at a time. There is a kind of rest that sleep cannot give. A kind of peace that no vacation, no long weekend, and no day off can provide. It is the rest that reaches past your body and goes deep into your soul. You can lie in bed for 8 hours and still wake up weary if your spirit is burdened. You can take time off from work and still feel exhausted if your mind is racing with anxiety, doubt, and fear. That's because true rest isn't only physical, it is spiritual, and that kind of rest comes from one place, resting in God. When your spirit finds rest in God, everything changes. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts settle. Your heart begins to open. You are no longer trying to carry the world on your shoulders. You stop trying to fix everything, please everyone, and anticipate every possible outcome. You simply let go. You lean into the everlasting arms that were never meant to let you fall. That is real rest. Not just the closing of your eyes, but the quieting of your soul. Not just the stillness of your body, but the peace that surpasses understanding. A divine calm that begins to fill every space that fear used to occupy. God's rest isn't like the world's rest. The world offers distraction, escape, temporary relief. But God offers renewal. He restores your soul in a way nothing else can. In His presence, you don't have to pretend to be strong. You don't have to keep performing. You don't have to wear the mask that says, "I'm fine." You can simply be, broken if you need to be, empty if that's how you feel. Honest, raw, tired, because God doesn't need you to impress Him. He just wants you to come, and when you do, He meets you with grace, with love, with strength that is not your own. This rest is not something you have to earn. It's not a reward for having everything together. It's a gift. It's always available. You can enter it at any time, in any place. All you need is a willing heart. A simple prayer is enough. God, I'm tired. I need your peace. I need your rest. That is enough. The moment you stop striving and start trusting, your soul exhales. The weight begins to lift, not always all at once, but breath by breath your strength returns. Resting in God doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you move from a place of peace. It means that even in the middle of a busy day, even in the heart of a challenge, your spirit is anchored. You're not being tossed by every worry or fear. You're grounded in faith. That's what happens when you've learned to rest in God. You can keep going without burning out, because you're not running on your own limited energy. You are being carried. You are being sustained. When your soul finds its rest in Him, you begin to live differently. You respond with grace. You speak with calm. You move with clarity. And even when the day is long or the demands are many, you remain refreshed. That's not something this world can give. That's the gift of divine rest. So if you're weary, don't just sleep. Surrender, don't just take a break. Take refuge. Let your soul lie down in the green pastures of God's presence. Let Him lead you beside still waters. Let Him restore your soul. Because that's where your true strength is found. That's how you find the kind of rest that leaves you truly renewed, body, mind, and spirit. How you start your day determines how you carry your energy through it. The first few moments after you wake up are sacred. They set the tone, the rhythm, the direction of your mindset. If you begin in a rush, immediately consumed by your to-do list, flooded by notifications and distractions, your spirit becomes scattered before you've even left the bed. But if you take the time to begin your day with intention, with stillness, gratitude, and connection, you create a foundation of peace and power that carries you forward no matter what the day may bring. Starting each day with a renewal ritual is not just a nice idea, it's a life-changing habit. It's a conscious decision to feed your soul before feeding your schedule. It's about choosing alignment before activity. And when you do this regularly, it creates a deep inner shift. You begin to walk through your day with more clarity, more purpose, and more calm strength. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and start thriving. The most powerful renewal rituals are simple. You don't need an hour of silence or a perfect meditation space. You only need a few focused minutes to shift your entire state of being. Begin with gratitude. Before anything else, place your hand on your heart and think of 3 things you're thankful for. Not just the big things. Sometimes it's the smallest blessings that bring the most peace. A warm bed, a quiet moment, a fresh breath of air. Gratitude immediately lifts your spirit. It turns your attention away from what's lacking and brings it back to what's present and good. After gratitude, speak life into your day. Use your words as tools of power. Declare the kind of energy you want to carry. Say, today I choose peace. I choose strength. I walk in purpose. I am guided. I am energized. I am enough. These words are not empty. They are seeds planted in the soil of your mind. And as you continue to speak them daily, they begin to grow. They change your beliefs, and those beliefs shape your behaviors. In this sacred space of renewal, open your heart to divine wisdom. Read a short passage of scripture or a verse that reminds you of your higher purpose. Let those words sink into your soul. Let them become your focus for the day. Scripture has a way of speaking directly to your heart's needs, of offering guidance when your path feels uncertain, and giving comfort when life feels heavy. Even one line of divine truth can carry you through a storm if you truly receive it. And finally, breathe. Take a few deep, conscious breaths. Let each inhale fill you with new energy, and each exhale release tension and heaviness. Breathe in peace. Breathe in clarity. Breathe in divine strength. In these quiet moments, you are not just preparing for the day. You are connecting to the source of all life. You are aligning yourself with grace, and from that alignment comes real power. This renewal ritual is not about adding another task to your list. It's about starting from a place of fullness instead of depletion. It's about remembering that you are more than your work, more than your responsibilities. You are a soul with purpose. And when you begin your day in that space, you show up differently. You handle challenges with grace. You lead with confidence. You love with depth. You live with energy that doesn't run out by noon because it's drawn from a deeper well. Do this every day. Protect those first few minutes. Let them become your anchor. And as you commit to this renewal ritual, you'll find that you're not just feeling better. You're becoming stronger, more centered, more alive. That is how you begin to live a life where you never feel tired again. There is a strength available to you that goes far beyond your human limits. It is not built in the gym. It is not found in caffeine. And it is not something you can create by pure willpower. This strength is divine. It flows from a source higher than your stress, stronger than your fatigue, and deeper than your doubt. When you believe in a power greater than yourself, you gain access to something extraordinary, miraculous strength. This is not poetic language. This is a truth that has sustained people through every kind of trial, and it can carry you too. There comes a point in life when your own strength just isn't enough. You've tried everything, worked harder, pushed longer, thought your way through every possible solution, and still the tiredness persists. That's the moment when something shifts. That's the moment when you realize strength isn't something you always generate from within. It's something you receive from above. The human spirit, as beautiful and capable as it is, was never meant to carry the weight of the world alone. It was meant to be lifted, to be renewed, to be empowered by a strength not of this world. The scriptures say, even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. What a powerful image, not just walking, not just running, soaring. That's what miraculous strength looks like. It doesn't just help you survive. It helps you rise above. When you place your trust in something greater, you're no longer limited by your own capacity. You tap into heaven's supply, but this kind of strength doesn't come from striving. It comes from surrender. It comes when you stop trying to do it all yourself and start inviting God into your process. When you say, "Lord, I can't do this on my own," you're not admitting defeat. You're stepping into the victory that comes through faith. In that surrender, something begins to shift. Your panic is replaced with peace. Your weakness is exchanged for power. And the tasks ahead of you, though still present, no longer feel impossible. That is the miracle of divine strength. Believing in miraculous strength also changes how you see yourself. You stop labeling yourself as tired, broken, burned out, or barely hanging on. Instead, you begin to see yourself as someone who is held, someone who is guided, someone who is filled with purpose and empowered by grace. You walk through your day not as a victim of circumstance, but as a vessel of strength. You understand that you may feel tired, but you are not defeated. You may bend, but you will not break. This is not about denying your limits. It's about acknowledging that your limits are not the end of the story. Faith bridges the gap between what you can do and what needs to be done. It lifts you when you're too weary to lift yourself. It fuels you when your tank is empty, and it gives you a sense of peace even in the middle of pressure. So no matter how drained you may feel, remind yourself, there is strength beyond you. You are not alone. The same power that created the universe lives within you and surrounds you. And that power is ready to carry you, to renew you, and to make you soar. Trust it. Embrace it. Believe in it. Because when you do, you will rise above the tiredness. You will move forward with new energy, and you will discover that you were never meant to stumble. You were born to soar. Fill your mind with faith, your heart with hope, and your life will overflow with unstoppable power. Because with God beside you, there is no limit to what you can do.